Shen Shi, the Golden Core Stage Cultivator. He is the second master of Shangding Xiangzong sect, and a ruthless character who does whatever it takes to become stronger. In the plot, he covets the protagonist's treasures and opportunities. From the beginning, he deceived and intimidated him. He even tried to kill the protagonist. Later in the story, when the protagonist achieved enlightenment, the first thing he did was to defeat Shen Shi, who had completed the Golden Elixir stage. Shen Shi was completely useless compared to the protagonist, who is extremely lucky. And the whole story is just classic cliché story routines. Shen Shi wakes up thinking that he is dreaming the world in front of him, expresses of how the quality of his dream is lit. On top of that, a cute girl in front of him is cutely calling out to him as master. The first thing he can think of doing is to feel more of the dream traces, and the girl cries out to Shen Shi telling him to stop, thinking that if she ran away now, it will make him angry, and she will end up beaten to death. After he finishes touching his disciple, he wonders why it feels so real, and how come the dream of his is so vivid. And then he realizes that the person in front of him is Chong Yuling. Suddenly, he gets headache scaring Chong Yu. She thought that if he was going to die there with her inside, people will doubt her that she does something to her master. Then the other masters and her seniors will definitely torture her. The master then grabs her face, saying that he is fine and tells her to stop crying. Instead, Chong Yu starts crying louder, saying that he shouldn't die and can't be in trouble. Yet inside, she thinks that the grumpy, cruel and fierce master actually comforted her so gently. She suspects he must have damaged his brain. Then Shen Shi sternly asking why she was crying, and whether she wants him to do something about it. That's when Chong Yu realizes that her master is fine, and pray for him to always be fine. Shen Shi then explained that he clearly set her to be a cute character. Her personality is completely different. He now knows that he crossed into the story of Long Aexion, a novel written by himself. It frustrates him knowing that he became the first canon fodder boss who was sacrificed to the heaven by the protagonist. It turns out that he always liked to write the villain's name with the same name as him. If he knew earlier, he would have written as the protagonist's friend or Master Goldfinger. He then remembers that according to the setting, there should be an accompanying system or cheating finger for a world crosser like him. He then checks it out, calling out a supervillain system, but nothing comes out. Chong Yu can only watches in confusion, while her master calling out to all kind of names she couldn't recognize. In the end, Shen Shi just lay down flat in his bed, thinking that he is in the death's door right after crossing over. But then, Chong Yu comes to his side and to his arm, hugging and calling out to him. Chong Yu is his youngest disciple. It was not until the protagonist came and she began to worship the protagonist. That's when Shen Shi realized that according to the timeline, the protagonist has not yet met Shangding Xiangzong and become his disciple, nor did he take revenge against him yet. The protagonist has a lot of luck and extremely short-sighted. Shen Shi thinks of that as long as he masked the favorability with the big guy and become the protagonist's #1 licking dog. He assumes that he will be able to follow the protagonist to rise to the top. And judging from Chong Yu's cuteness, there should be many beauty in this world. He thought that having a life that chased the beauties is quite promising to him now. But the first thing he needs to do is to turn around his bad image of being violent and impermanent while touching Chang Yu's face, which makes her cries out some more, asking what had Shen Shi had done to her, adding that she is still so young. He then thought that it is too foul according to the character setting. He always abuses his disciples, and he tries to do something to check that out. In his justification though, he didn't do it for himself alone. As a writer, he knows that the viewers also love to watch it. Like, favorites and comments barrages will explode. What he does next is to tap on her, telling her to stop crying and shut up, showing his real persona as written in the book and makes her smile. Shen Shi then thoughts of how can he bully that stupid child. He decides to slowly change his image, as he has to make a good relationship with the other apprentice first, which they are all defected to the protagonist's side. From outside, a disciple called Zuan has something to report to him. According to his setting, Shen Shi's second disciple is gentle-hearted and sentimental sister, but unfortunately her qualifications are mediocre at best. In the original plot, she was beaten to death by him for covering up the protagonist. It becomes the catalyst for the protagonist's revenge. And of course, right now Shen Shi wouldn't do such a stupid thing. Instead, he feels excited to see that carved jade that contains all the precious inscriptions on the front and back. He then goes out to see what it's all about, wanting to see how Zuan looks. She is anxious that her junior sister has been inside to give their master the spirit tea for a long time. She thought that Chong Yu shouldn't be so clumsy as to displease their master. As Shen Shi comes out of the door, Zuan kneel down in the ground disappoint him, and making him unable to check her up, so he tells her to stand up. She informed him that Xing Zhengtan has sent an invitation, as Shen Shi checks her out thinking what a nice body she has. It is confirms it now that Shen Shi is actually in the novel he is writing. He then asks her to see the invitation, which she explained that the invitation still has not been sent yet. That actually scare her, because she made it up just to see her junior sister, and for a low-talent disciple like her, her master would just kill her if he is angry. But Shen Shi knows that Zuan Yu just made it up and wonders why his disciples are so foolish. He then tells her to take Chong Yu back, adding that he will spare her this time and only this time. Shen Shi tells her that she doesn't need to kneel and worship him in the future, which actually confuses her for being kind. So Shen Shi explained that it's annoying to just looking at her back while talking to her, then tells her to just be obedient. It's actually quite difficult though. Shen Shi's original character is so villainous, it would take a lot of work to get his little disciples to trust him. He then expressed that he will go back and take up the responsibility of the master and guide them in their cultivation. Feeling how Shen Shi being kind to her, Zuan Yu actually blushes and Chong Yu tease her for it, saying that she thought how handsome her master is, which Zuan Yu refutes, asking how can Chong Yu make such a rash comments. It is then explained that the Erbai Peak is Shen Shi's exclusive cave, among the 12 mountain peaks covered by Shangding Xianzong sect. The concentration of spiritual power is second only to the main Deng Tian Peak and the secondary Don King Peak. At the peak, there are 2 snow-white fields, one is an Edelweiss herb garden, the other is a white jade hotbed. Edelweiss has key gathering ability and the necessary materials for cultivation, while the white jade hotbed is a treasured place for breaking through in cultivation. These 2 treasures are all privately owned by Shen Shi, and together with his cultivation at the pinnacle of Gold Core stage, even if the other peak master are jealous, they do not dare to make a move. As the writer of the story, Shen Shi knows that there is a mutated Edelweiss in his garden. It is the protagonist's first fated luck that no one knows yet. As of now, Shen Shi has to take it first to avoid other mishaps. He is so confident that the plot is written by him, so what could have happened anyway? And his worries come true though, there are cranes eating his Edelweiss. He is angry, so angry that he just ran towards them like an old hag, driving them away. As the cranes flew, he uses his technique to stop them, saying that how dare they ate his Edelweiss and go. In the end, the birds crash on the barrier in the sky, with the technique called Mountains Descend. As the birds fell, Shen Shi is sad knowing that his baby Edelweiss, the cheating plugin for the protagonist used for an afternoon tea by those stupid birds. He then calls out to all of his disciples to come to the Edelweiss herb garden. It actually takes quite a while for them to climb up the mountain though, so Shen Shi thoughts that he needs to make them train their physical fitness more starting tomorrow. The first thing Shen Shi speaks of is to ask the 3rd disciple to stand up. Well, it turns out that he just wants to check her up. She is called Han Xianpi with an upper talent, the one with the best aptitude among the 4 peers, dual fire and wood spiritual roots. But her physique is different from ordinary people, as he didn't expect to see that kind of taste in reality. Originally she was used as a tool who highlighted Shen Shi's brutality, yet he didn't even teach her any exercise. However, she didn't complain too much as she was conscientious and handling chores in an orderly manner. But with that one-of-a-kind figure, she needs to be cultivated. Finishes checking her out, Shen Shi asks them who has been in charge of guarding the herb garden, as he point out the cranes that ate the herbs. At this point, their master is still the cruel and ruthless person in their eyes, so with their good relationship with each other, they refuse to talk. And then Shen Shi realizes that it's the eldest disciple, Dong Yuli. He now knows that Dong Yuli is the one responsible for guarding the herb garden, but she was injured after getting punished by him, so he can only blame himself for it. The 2nd disciple kowtows to him, saying that she was the one that responsible for the garden, adding that her elder sister asks her to take care of it while she recover her injuries. Getting annoyed by it, Shen Shi tells her to shut up, as he knows it well already. He then tells them to go out of his sight before he lost patience again, and they all are really swiftly goes down the peak. It is then explained that Erbai Peak is divided into 3 areas. The 3rd area is where the entry disciples and servants live. The 2nd area is where the excellent disciples live, and the 1st area is naturally Shen Shi's residence. In the 2nd area, there is also a spirit gathering array, and the spirit power is twice higher than outside. And other than Dong Yuli, the 1st disciple, the others are too afraid of being too close to Shen Shi and choose to be in the 3rd area. As Shen Shi opened the door into the 2nd residence, going to check Dong Yuli's injuries, he found her bathing in her birthday suit. She then turned away, apologized to him saying that she doesn't know that he was coming and asks him to leave first. Shen Shi goes outside the residence for a while, thinking that he has no regret in this life now. He feels so happy that he made up all kind of rhymes because of it. However, the wounds on her body were indeed shocking. As Shen Shi's first disciple, she suffered the most abuse. She is also in the 9th realm of Qi Refining Realm, which is the highest among the 4 disciples. But she is also the only one who chose to stay with Shen Shi when he got betrayed by his follower. Thus, he decides to come inside again. While in the bath, Dong Yuli thoughts how her master saw her naked. She is so afraid that he will become a beast and do something bad to her. As it is become quiet in the residence, she tries to check whether her master has left. She is a little bummed knowing that her master left just like that. She wonders whether he has any interest on her. And bang, the door open up. Shen Shi comes inside the residence, making her so afraid of what he might do. Shen Shi then checks up on his sleeve trouser looking for something, which makes her afraid of things progressing too sudden and too fast. Being butt naked, Shen Shi asks her to open up her mouth, which she tries to refuse, saying that she is his disciple. But, with her current condition, she might be really die if she get punished by her master again, so she does as she has told. Shen Shi then feed her something, surprises her, where she thinks all kind of bad things that her master would do to her. Yet, Shen Shi explained that as a Yuan elixir. It's a priceless 4-grade elixir and he has only about 10. He tells Dong Yuli to not waste it and quickly absorb its power, where it can be seen from the aura she extrudes. And then she did as what her master tells her, while Shen Shi watch over her. He thoughts that after coughing out money like that, Dong Yuli should be able to smoothly break through to the foundation building realm. At the evening that day, Zuanyu and Chongyu sneak around the 2nd residence area. Then Chongyu explained that their master cultivates at night so he won't realize they entered the residence. Zuanyu tells her that it's always good to be careful. Thanks to the help of the immortal without cultivation, they finally could afford the excellent pill, and they must safely deliver it to their eldest sister. Upon knocking at the house, saying that they come with the medicine, there is no one answering the door. They both worried whether their sister is asleep or she passed out just like that after getting punished by their master. So Chongyu barges open the door. What they witness is that their eldest sister looks like ascending to immortality. Zuanyu expresses how all of her wound have disappeared while Chongyu is so ecstatic seeing her boobs. But then, Shen Shi grabs them from behind, asking what they are doing there in the middle of the night. So they nervously answer him, saying that they are being there only to see their eldest sister. Shen Shi notices that they are being there to deliver medicine to Dong Yuli. He expresses how even though they are not good with cultivation, their character is really good. In the end, he tells them that their eldest sister is in the middle of breakthrough right now, and asks them to come back and not disturb her. Shen Shi then lead them back to their residence while they both following him. Chongyu thoughts how their master has become kinder. She also wonders whether she is the master she used to know. Zuanyu claims that she has no idea. Shen Shi thoughts that at first, he just wanted to change the plot, but now he really likes his disciples, and he thinks that he might need to be a good master now. In the evening at the Erbai Peak, Shen Shi sat down at his residence. According to his setting, Shen Shi has a water and wood dual spiritual root. Skilled in illusion arts, trapping techniques and healing methods. His most powerful move is spirit arts called Overlapping Mountains. He then evaluates his skill according to the arts in the cultivation world. All of that is just mediocre skills, so even if he cultivates to perfection, he still won't be too powerful. Right now, Shen Shi fully in the Golden Core stage and I'm only one step away from the Nascent Soul stage. He then tries out his skill. A whips of water appears in his hand, then he releases it to the chair nearby. The attack destroys the chair into pieces though, and he expresses how amazing it feels. Now that he has decides to be a good master, he chooses not to neglect his cultivation. Going outside, he wonders what is exactly happens to him, as he is so easily break through to the Nascent Soul stage. The world is responding to him, like pleasing him, and seems to put his needs first. Not only will there be no obstacle in raising his cultivation level, the balance of rules will tilt towards him when fighting, and all the enemy's attack will be weakened, while his will be strengthened. He then ecstatically saying how awesome it is, the heavens are helping him. If he doesn't care about consequences, he might be able to reach God's stage as well. Looking at the sunset, he thoughts that for now, it's better to follow the plot. He suppresses his cultivation realm in the Golden Core stage for the time being. With such a foundation, even if the protagonist is equipped with various cheats and advances quickly, he can always beat him in realm level and strength. Shen Shi expresses how good it is. Because of that now he can be the protagonist's master and cling to his thigh. Yeah, he is so oblivious and hasn't considered himself to be the protagonist. He ends his day laughing hysterically in the peak of the first residence. In the morning, Chang Yu wakes up greeting her senior sisters. Zuan Yu asks her why she was not sleeping well, and Chang Yu tells her that she heard their master's scary laugh coming from the mountain top last night, and was too scared to sleep. Han Xianpi then helps cleaning her up, as Zuan Yu tells her to wash up quickly. Their master called for them to gather at the White Jade hotbed at the top of the mountain, so they starts hurriedly running towards the peak where their master is waiting. As Shen Shi waits, sitting for so long even started to get sleepy. Dong Yuli then inform him that her junior sisters have arrived into the White Jade hotbed. It turns out that she smoothly broke through into the Foundation building realm last night. Next up is her junior sisters, as they arrive exhausted and sloppily greeting him. Shen Shi tells them that in the future, he wants to see them there every morning. He orders them to get up early and cultivate there for an hour. Han Xianpi speaks that she thinks it's better if she just do labor, as for her staying at the White Jade hotbed will only hinder her sisters. She thoughts how she is just a good-for-nothing who can't even cultivate, and maybe she will remain as a laborer till she die of old age. Shen Shi then asks how old is she, where she said that she is 14 years old. It turns out that in the original story, Shen Shi doesn't teach her any cultivation methods because he feared her unknown background, but now he doesn't have to. As she cries, he explained to her that she is supposed to start cultivating the golden core stage between the ages of 9 and 12. At the age of 14, the meridians in the body are about to take shape. It will be hard for her to start cultivating now, but he assures her that it's okay. It's not too late, as she has a fire and wood dual spiritual root. And since she hasn't entered a sect before, Shen Shi will teach her the sect's cultivation methods. It's not too late, as long as she works hard, nothing is impossible. Shen then remembers that he is indeed her master, the one who's on top of the glorious Immortal Hall 4 years ago. Despite the ridicule and contempt of others, he took her hand and made her his disciple. Han Xianpi then cries out into Shen Shi's arm as he comforts her to stop crying. While from behind, Zuan Yu wonders whether he is really his master, and Chang Yu surprises to see her master is such a gentle person. Dong Yuli, looking bright and happy, expresses how Shen Shi is such a gentle master before, and now, he has finally come back.